This is my Christmas movie ranking list. Now, I did poll some different friends and ask their opinion on where we should put all these different movies. But since it is my video, I have the power to veto any decisions that I might view as bad decisions. Now, in the ranking list, we have at the very top Santa, which is like the S tier. Then we got Jingle Bells. Then Pretty Good, aka Stocking Stuffer. Then we have Meh, and then Bad, like didn't think it was a good movie, and haven't seen it. Now, personally, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of movies that are going to be in the bad list. Very first one, we have A Christmas Carol, which I believe this one is actually the first Christmas Carol live action movie. Based on our poll, it has it at the Jingle Bell level. Okay. Next on our list, we have The Muppet Christmas Carol. Now, that's a pretty big fan favorite right there. A lot of people like that movie. And based on our poll, it's actually up in the Santa level. Next on our list, we have Mickey's Christmas Carol. Now, Mickey's Christmas Carol, when I was a kid, was actually probably my favorite version of the Christmas Carol. And a lot of people, I think, agreed, because it's up in the Santa level. Next on the list, we have Santa Claus the movie. Now, I was actually surprised how there were several different people that I polled that had not seen this one yet. But from most of the people that had seen it, and some who just had said they'd seen it but didn't really remember it that well, it, for some reason, is ending up in the Pretty Good list, aka Stocking Stuffer. I don't know. I personally think it should go up higher, but that's where it ended up at. The next on our list, we have Red One. Now, this is a relatively new movie. Came out in 2024. It was out in theaters and in streaming at the same time, I think. I personally saw it on like Amazon Prime, I believe. I thought it was an okay movie. I wasn't blown away. One of my little quick reviews of it, I said it felt kind of like, what was that movie called? Like Olympus Has Fallen with Gerard Butler and like Marvel's Ant-Man mixed up with like Christmas time. Because if you've seen that movie, you might understand what I mean by that. Actually, both of those movies. From people that I polled and everything, they enjoyed it for what it was. The ones who actually saw it and all. So it only ended up in Pretty Good. Bad Santa. Well, you'd think right off the bat with it being called Bad Santa, that would be in the bad level, right? Well, I personally have not seen Bad Santa. That might be a shocker to some people. And there were several people that I polled who also had not seen Bad Santa. And so since I personally haven't seen it, we're just gonna put it in the haven't seen it spot. Now, if you have seen Bad Santa, where would you put it on the list? Let me know down in the comments. Next on our list, Ernest Saves Christmas. Now, I personally wanted to put this in the Santa level right off the bat, but there were other people who were like, it was good for what it was, fun little movie back in the day, and it ended up being put into the Pretty Good category. I was like, okay. Then we have Christmas with the Cranks. This one was pretty much universally voted on being in the Pretty Good category. It's a fun little family movie if you haven't seen it yet. Next on the list, we have Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, I'm in the category of believing that The Nightmare Before Christmas can be a Christmas movie, but it's also a Halloween movie. Or you can say it's a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie. You can watch it either time because it has really both themes to it. Some people believe that it's not a Christmas movie at all. And based on most of the people that I polled, interesting enough, it ends up in the Jingle Bell category. Alright, next on the list is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Now, almost everybody that I polled agreed with me, saying that it should be in the Santa tier section. And moving on, just going down the line here, we have Santa Claus is Coming into Town. Pretty much everybody on this list agreed that movies like Rudolph, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and The Year Without Santa Claus, that all of these were childhood favorites, and they're like, yeah, we got to put it in the top, right? So they're all going up to the top. Now, oddly enough, now see, all these are those like claymation type movies. Not everybody was super thrilled about the Little Drummer Boy. I was like, okay, so based on these other ones, that it's going to go up to top 2. But no, they all were like, yeah, let's just put it in Jingle Bells. I'm like, really? Okay. And then we got Frosty. I mean, everybody likes Frosty, don't they? But then there were like some people were like, oh, but it's sad too. But I'm like, but he comes back every year. There's no reason to be sad. They're like, we're just no. So it ended up being put into Jingle Bell level. I'm like, okay. Now, like I said, I do have the power to veto any decisions, but I was like, I can't really argue that one up. Then we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is the old cartoon classic version, and it was unanimously voted into the Santa Claus tier. And then we have the live action version with Jim Carrey of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and it was mixed review. There were some who said that it should be Santa Claus level, some said Jingle Bell level, some that were like, it was okay. And so based on the overall average, we're going into the Jingle Bell level. Apparently it didn't hit home as well as the old classic cartoon version. Next on our list, we have Kurt Russell, The Christmas Chronicle. Now, there were several people on my list who had never seen it, and I personally never saw it. So we're going to write on to haven't seen it. Now, if, again, like Bad Santa, if you had seen this movie, let me know down in the comments and tell me where you would put The Christmas Chronicle on the list. And I've heard that there's, another one, maybe 2 other ones. I don't know. But I haven't seen any of them. And people that I polled, most of them hadn't seen it either, so that's where it's going. Next on the list, we have Miracle on 34th Street. Now, I have seen this one, but I think I've only ever seen it once, and it was a long time ago, so I don't really remember it that well. This is the old school version. Based on a lot of people that I polled, they really enjoyed it, said it was a good classic, but it only ended up in like the Jingle Bell level. And then we got the newer same movie, Miracle on 34th Street. I did watch this one as well, and same thing, they ended up in the Jingle Bell level instead of Santa. I'm like, but it's got Santa in it. Then we have the Gremlins, and it also ended up in the Jingle Bell level. Then we have Bill Murray's Scrooge. Now, this one also had mixed reviews. There was like one person who voted for it to be in Santa level, several in Jingle Bell, and several in the pretty good level. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the Jingle Bell level. Next on our list, some people don't necessarily view this one as a Christmas movie. I do. And again, there were some mixed reviews on it, and it's Batman Returns. I mean, I would challenge anybody, go back and watch Batman Returns. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And tell me that it's not really a Christmas movie. But based on the overall poll, it ended up being in the Jingle Bell level. I mean, I would have probably put it up higher because maybe I'm a Batman fan. Anyways, Love Actually, another one that ended up being several people that I polled hadn't seen it, even though I've heard that it's a really good movie. Most people that just, in passing from time to time have talked about seeing the movie and all have said it's a really good movie, but none of those people are people that I ended up polling. So, and I haven't seen it. So again, it goes into the haven't seen it pile. Have you seen Love Actually? Same thing with the other 2 movies. If you saw that, leave me a comment. Tell me where you think it should be on the list. Maybe I'll do another list at some point, and who knows? We'll put it somewhere else. Next on the list, a Charlie Brown Christmas. This ended up being a big fan favorite. I mean, who doesn't like Charlie Brown Christmas? It's even got the actual Christmas message in it. Who doesn't love the little sad tree that Charlie Brown has? It automatically was set up to being in the Santa level. So far, I'm noticing that we don't have any meh or bad movies yet. Like I said, I didn't think there was really going to be any in the bad movie section. So, I don't know. We'll see. Next on the list, we have Polar Express. Now, I instantly said I wanted it in Santa level. It's a fun little movie. There were a few people who said, no, it's kind of creepy. And then there were some that were like, no, we enjoy it. It's got some good music. It's got a good little theme to it, everything. And so I'm like, okay, bare minimum, we're putting it in Jingle Bell level. Next on the list, we have Jingle All the Way. Who remembers Turbo Man? Based on my polling and everything, again, we had mixed reviews of whether it should be in the Santa level or Jingle Bell level, and we had one person who said that it was meh. So it's going to go into the Jingle Bell level. We're not going to let the one meh person, take it down any further. So next on the list, we have A Christmas Story. Now, I personally, the first time that I ever watched the movie A Christmas Story was last year. And I have always heard from like so many different people about how great this movie is. I mean, heck, like on Christmas Day, don't they like show it 24 hours of A Christmas Story or something like that? So I'm like, so this is supposed to be a pretty big deal and everybody really likes it and everything, right? I watched it and I personally thought it was boring. You know, if I had to vote anywhere, I'd put it like at the very least meh. And surprisingly, I had several other people who agreed with me. But then there were several people who were like, no, man, it's the greatest movie ever. So I'm like, okay, compromise. We'll put it in, pretty good. It's a classic. Apparently there are people who like it. I was like, I saw it once. I don't really ever have to watch it again. Then we're moving on to Elf. Elf to me was, instantly I wanted to put it in S tier. And some people were like, yes, it's S tier. And then I actually had several people who I polled who said like, no, it's meh. I'm like, no, it's a great movie. It's a fun movie. It's got a lot of hope. It's got even like the callback to some of the Claymations and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use my veto power and I'm going to put Elf actually in a Santa tier. If you don't like that, well, just leave me a comment down below and tell me why you don't like that. Now we got National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I actually watched this one last night, and most people really enjoyed this one. I thought it was going to instantly go into the Santa level, but it ended up being just in the Jingle Bells level. I was surprised by that. Then we got Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. Now, this one was pretty much unanimously voted into the Santa level. I mean, like, literally you got Santa in the name. I mean, how's that not in the Santa level, right? And then we got the Santa Claus 2, since we're going in order. But the Santa Claus 2 only ended up in the Jingle Bell level. I was like, oh, really? And then we got the Santa Claus 3. It only ended up in the stocking stuffer level, the pretty good level, based on the poll. Almost in the meh level of the poll. I was like, wow. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't think it was necessarily Santa level. I would probably put it Jingle Bells, but that's where the poll went. And I wasn't going to fight anyone to veto it out of that position. Next on our list, we have Home Alone. Everyone said Santa level. I had nobody who said anything other. And then we got Home Alone 2. Majority of everyone said Santa level. I had a few, like very few, who said Jingle Bells, but I was like, well, since the majority is in Santa level, that's where we're going. Alright, the next several on the list are some old school movies. First one, The Shop Around the Corner. I had never seen it. Several people that I polled had also never seen it. Heard rumors that it's really good. It's got, James Stewart, or some people refer to him as Jimmy Stewart. If you had seen this one and you really liked it, again, let me know down in the comments. But it's going into the haven't seen it part. Next, It's a Wonderful Life. Now, for me personally, growing up, I always watched it every Thanksgiving. We would watch the parade, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And after that, we would watch It's a Wonderful Life, and we would eat our meal while watching that movie. And of course, usually take a nap afterwards, or maybe take a nap during the movie. But it is a classic, and it is instantly going up into the Santa level. Now, we got Holiday Inn. To me, is another classic. Now, that's another movie that is great to watch either around Thanksgiving and Christmas time. But based on my poll and everything, people didn't like it as much, and it only ended up in the Jingle Bell level. I think it should have gone higher. White Christmas. Now, I was going to use my veto power on this in case if anybody said otherwise, but a lot of people said it is a classic. It deserves such a high praised position, and it ended up in the Santa level. Now, a very controversial movie of whether it is an actual Christmas movie or not. I've seen Die Hard many times, and I recently watched it just the other day, and I'm like, outside of a couple different things that are a little more on the adult level, how can you not think that this is a Christmas movie? And the majority of people agreed with me. It's one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. So it is going up into the Santa level. Alright, everybody, there is my list. Surprisingly, nothing ended up in the meh list, even though there were some things I thought were kind of meh. Nothing ended up in the bad list section, and so I said that early on, probably nothing will end up there. So what do you think about this list? Is there any of these movies that you would put in a different spot, especially any of the movies that, like I said, are in the haven't seen, where would you put those? Is there any of the different movies that you're like, oh wait, this really deserves better, or like, no, this is much worse. This should be lower. Let me know all those. If there is a movie that you consider a Christmas movie, or a Christmas movie that was left off this list, because I basically gathered a bunch of different Christmas movies that were on a top 100 list and then added a few more of my own. So give me all your thoughts down below. Make sure, if you haven't already, to like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch all of y'all next time.